This story is a painful one for me, because this is how, a little over a year ago, I lost my best friend. Her name was Jessica Ivan. I just called her Jess. She and I were closer than sisters. We did practically everything together. She was a lot of fun to be with. Good sense of humor, witty, knowledgeable, stylish, friendly. She was everything you could hope for in a best friend. But she had one thing that kept other people from getting to know her. She was odd. She would go through phases, which were unsettling. For 3 months, she listened to nothing but creepy carnival music, and she would hum it all day. For a month, she dyed her hair white, pure white. And for an entire year, she wore red contact lenses that used to freak people out so bad. Other people thought that she was weird, even scary at times. But for a while, those were some of the things I liked best about her. She was strange, but it made her different, far more interesting than any of the other girls at our college, who identically had blonde hair, pink nails, and a jaw full of bubble gum. Jessica was so different from them, and I could tell she loved the attention. I know, you're thinking that's the only reason why she did it, for the attention. But I think it went deeper than that. Anyway, as a fundraiser, our college was hosting a masquerade dance. Formal gowns, masks required, classical music, and a haunting air of mystery. You can well imagine, Jess was thrilled. And honestly, so was I. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we could hardly wait. So, with the night of the dance scheduled only 2 weeks away, Jess and I started shopping all over town for dresses and masks. I found mine almost right away. A full-length, elegant red gown with a gold mask with red feathers. I had fallen in love with it instantly. Jessica had found a black dress with white lace sleeves and trim, and it looked great on her, but she was having trouble finding a mask. Until, that is, we visited a little second-hand shop in town. There, we found a porcelain mask, painted like a mask worn on the Day of the Dead festival. She adored it the moment she saw it. The heavy porcelain face strung around the head with a sturdy black ribbon. It was perfect. She held it up to her face, and with a laugh, I took a picture of her. That picture. I've kept it all this time. It was the last one I ever took of her, my best friend. I took her home after she paid for the mask. She wanted to try it on with her dress, and I had homework to do anyway. So, the next day, I expected to see her in class and ask her about her dress. But Jess's chair that day was empty, and for 2 whole weeks, she missed classes and wouldn't respond to my calls or texts. I had gotten worried, and I called her parents. They told me that she had told them that she was going out of town to visit an old friend. An old friend? I wondered why Jess hadn't told me, and why she was ignoring my messages. But I shrugged it off, expecting an explanation when she got back. The night of the masquerade ball slowly crept up, and I found myself adjusting my mask and my dress once more in the bathroom mirror before heading downstairs to where my car was waiting to take me to the masquerade. The gym had been decorated in swirling colors, and the dim light made the masked figures all look like specters. It was an amazing sight. It was over an hour before I spotted the familiar black and white dress and pale Day of the Dead mask in the doorway. I ran to Jess, a smile spreading over my lips behind the mask. I had been so worried about her, but as I ran to her and opened my arms to hug her, as I always had when I saw her, she walked right by me. Her steps were uneven, and I could hear the joints in her ankles and knees popping with her stumbling movements. I tried to joke with her. "Shoes too tight, Jess?" She stopped, and she turned around to look at me, her neck cracking as she turned her head, the faint light barely gleaming off of her eyes behind the mask. She looked at me blankly for a moment before muttering the same words back to me. "Shoes too tight, Jess," in a drone of a voice so unlike hers. "Where have you been? I was worried," I asked, thinking that perhaps she was messing with me. "Worried," she echoed softly, and I almost didn't hear her over the music. She turned away and began walking again, moving in slow, awkward movements. I'm not sure what possessed me to do it, but as she turned, I glimpsed the black ribbon tied behind her head, and in one swift motion, I reached out and pulled the bow tie. The ribbon came loose, and the mask fell from her face, dropping to the ground and shattering across the floor in a dozen pieces. Her head spun back to face me, and I expected gritting teeth and a blazing glare. But what I got was far worse. The stretched, pale skin beneath the eyes reached down to the chin. No nose, no mouth, just flesh pulled tight over bones. I don't know what that thing was, but it was not Jess. It ran, lowering down onto all fours like an animal and scrambling back out the doorway, the sound of joints popping and the dress dragging and tearing far louder than the music. Screams and sharp cries of fear rang out and echoed off the high ceiling. The police searched for Jess and for the creature which had impersonated her. Neither were found. It's been over a year now, and I haven't seen Jess. All I have is a broken mask, a fading memory, and a dusty photograph. But I will never lose hope of seeing her again. She's out there somewhere, but so is that thing. And although I'll never be fooled by that thing again, be careful. You never know who it will impersonate next. Or maybe the next one it will replace will be you.